sometimes I feel like the idea that men can be beautiful is a myth. Because I feel like God didn't create men to be beautiful. I feel like God intended for men to be untamed and intended for them to embody their nature. But the society that we live in today, men are defined as beautiful whenever they meet some sort of like standard. But you know what? I've been going back and forth on this, just internally, about how I feel about it. But I want to talk about it because I think defining men is a normalized kind of thing. Like putting them in a box, categorizing them. Labeling. Especially when it comes to physical appearance, I feel like women aren't the only ones who are treated a certain way because of how they look, how they're groomed, what their body looks like. You know, I think it's equal in men experience and like the same amount of conditioning that I feel like women do when it comes to how they look. And I feel like society expects men to be super put together and like clean is not really the word I'm looking for. It's more polished. There it is. Polished. Yeah. And I feel like there's this idea that if a man is polished, that makes him beautiful. That's not my own personal beliefs. I personally think just because something is polished doesn't necessarily make it beautiful. It just makes it shiny. You know, just entertains your eyes. It's just an outer layer. It's the surface. And I feel like the things in life that aren't polished tend to have a bit more character. A bit more grace. A bit more soul. More body. And I think men are that way. Like, just like that. You know, like when a man isn't like polished. And you can see like the scratches on the surface. I love that. Because I think it reflects the true nature of beauty when it relates to masculine energy. Like I feel like the if there is beauty in masculinity, it isn't in the physical appearance in the way that it is with the feminine. I think beauty in the masculine and masculine energy is more poetic, not quite literal. Which is why it's something about like calling a man beautiful that I think feels like a misunderstanding of the point. You know, like the purpose of men. And I think it also makes it harder for men to be men when beauty is considered a part of who they are, I guess. And I feel like maybe that's what I love about Jason Momoa. I said I wouldn't call him beautiful, even though society calls him beautiful. Like, he's beautiful, yes, but I wouldn't agree with you if you were talking about his physical appearance. Like, I would agree that yes, he's beautiful if we're talking about if we're talking about his freedom, if we're talking about the way he expresses himself, that's beautiful. I like that it kind of feels like he doesn't know of boundaries. But yet he respects himself. At least it seems that he does. Because I feel like it shows, you know, in the way he interacts with people. If he can be respectful with others, then, you know, he must have some respect for himself. I just like that he rebels a little bit against tradition and what's considered conventional, what's considered beautiful in a man. Somehow he's turned the complete opposite of what is considered perfect into perfection. In the eyes of society, in the eyes of the media, I feel like he doesn't look mainstream to me. So the fact that he's like a big movie star kind of blows my mind a little bit, because maybe it's humbling, the experience that I have observing him and witnessing him and being in the audience. Because he doesn't feel Hollywood. He doesn't feel like the way celebrities, I feel like, feel. Especially when they are beautiful, you know. Maybe it's just that he is brown. You know, and it's like, yes, of course there's deeper shades of brown, but it doesn't matter. It's just the fact that he's brown. He's a man. And he has this personality that is kind of like fluid, but still very like gentle, kind of soft, but also like loud and invasive. And it's like sometimes he comes off cocky, but then it doesn't last because I realized that it's not him. I think it's just like the idea of him. And also what it is about him that tends to get the most praise, which is his looks. So I think you would assume that he's vain because, I mean, typically that's how the media portrays him from my perspective. All we ever hear about is how good looking he is. But that's what I mean when I kind of think it's a little bit ironic. Because I don't think he fits the standards of beauty. He's so freaking hairy. And it's not even like tamed. Like it's groomed, yes. And clean, he looks clean, but he doesn't look tamed. And I love that about it. And I feel like what I don't like about it is that people are calling it beautiful. Like it's beauty. Like it's not exactly what it is, which is just freaking raw. You know, it's just unfiltered. I wouldn't want to label it as beauty because I think that defeats the purpose. If we label it as beauty, then it kind of like goes over the heads of the audience. And I also feel like throwing the label of beautiful on him almost like misses an opportunity to encourage people to not change themselves just to fit literally a standard of beauty. And that's really what it is. That's what it is. Okay, I'm getting there. The more I talk, the more potent what it, like the point that I'm trying to get to is that he doesn't fit the freaking standards of beauty, but like he's still a freaking movie star. And I don't think it's just because he's good looking. Because you know what, like I feel like his oh my goodness, the best way I can put it, right, is like, you wouldn't call a lion beautiful. Like, you could call a lion beautiful, but why? It's a lion. Lions don't make you feel beautiful necessarily. I feel like lions are more of a symbol of like empowerment. And when you think about a lion, you think about a roar. And I feel like the type of appeal that a lion has, I feel like it's the same kind of appeal that Jason Momoa has. And it's not necessarily beauty, it's more of like a fascination almost. With like nature, you know? I feel like there's so many other words to describe something than just like beautiful. Especially when it comes to men. Like, what? We gotta get more creative than that. Just like, oh, he's good looking, oh, he's handsome, oh, he's hot, oh, he's this, oh, he's that. Like, honestly, like, I don't want my man to be beautiful. Maybe that's what I'm trying to get to. Because I don't think I'm attracted to the beauty in a man. Because I don't seek it. Because I don't think it's in their nature to be beautiful. I feel like what I'm looking for in my man is more of like a feeling of empowerment. Like that he's empowered to be himself when he's like untamed and unchanged and unconditioned. Like he's empowered to be that version of himself. And maybe that's really what it is. Maybe that's really what people find beautiful. Because I feel like if I was a man and someone called me beautiful, if I was a man and someone called me beautiful, you are so beautiful. I think the things that a man does can be beautiful. I don't know if he himself can necessarily possess beauty. Let's talk about it. Because I feel like that's the point. And I feel like if his actions are beautiful, like if you perceive a man's actions to be beautiful, that no matter what he looks like, I think, like, you'll be more accepting of him and his physical appearance, because, and you know, I feel like that's also it. Like, I would prefer for a man's actions to be beautiful, or maybe that's just me. Like, maybe that's just where my mind is, like my mindset and how I see the world and things. Maybe that's not like universal. That's okay. But I feel like for me, that's where I seek beauty in a man, in his actions. Because just by way of just nature, they're gonna speak louder than his words. Because I feel like truly just like accepting the physical appearance of a man is where his beauty lies for you. I just think can really lead you down a dark path. Because I really think that there's a duality there, just naturally. And I feel like beauty, you know how they say a man is there's like two ways that they say it. They say a man is either half beast or half God. I know Aristotle said something like that, but it had to do with barbarians. And whoa, I just took it to Aristotle. I really did, because I was reading his book Politics. It's been a while since I picked it up though, but I do remember him talking about like men. And I think it had to do with solitude. And then, like, if you're okay with solitude, then you're either wild beast or God. But that's solitude. That's something different. But I think the significance of the quote is the duality pointed out there, the wild beast or God. And I think beauty can have that same effect on men. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, I just did something there. That point, let's talk about it. Beauty. Whether or not a man perceives himself to be beautiful, I think can either turn him to a wild beast or a god. Where within himself he sees beauty. Ooh, I'm gonna stop it right there. That's a perfect ending. It was so worth the journey.